And good morning. How's everyone doing? Happy Sunday. Probably not going to be a super long stream today, or even a long one. I've got to get some stuff done around this place. So, mostly going to be some little chore things. Also, but probably mainly, it's going to have to do with the 1.46 release of the compiler, because my code broke. So we're going to be looking into what's actually breaking it, which is going to be tough. Probably do a little searching for that. I'm guessing it's probably going to be something has to do with these async traits, along with some of the instrumentation stuff. A very light amount of research kind of points in that direction. Let me show the compiler errors. Reached the type length limit while instantiating pin, poll, etc. It's like we've got some closure. Immutable future, or pinning some mutable future, or is that the return type on pin? I don't remember. Try adding this. So type length limit 1,102,859. So, all right, gonna jump into it. This phone isn't quite doing the right thing. There we go. Let's check. I did this last night as well. I want to see if there's anything new. Yeah, our repos. I also updated all of those repos for the latest async stuff. Ooh, async trait got an update last night. Oh, let's go look. Nine hours ago. Fixed handling of self keyword inside of function like macro invocations of trait method. Ah, okay. Probably not this. This isn't going to fix it. Just hopeful. Right. Or is it? I doubt it. Yep, there we go. Okay. The downside to this is that it doesn't tell us very much information about the error itself. We add some verbosity to it. Let's see, it was compiling legacy. That's the top level one, the binary. So something inside the binary, well, or something that the binary actually links to. I'm guessing it's going to be inside of here. So there's not much inside the binary. Did I ever build out a fake DB? I don't think I did. So I think most of our code actually takes something that could be mocked out. Well, let's have fun with it anyways. DB cargo. I want to try removing async trait from it. I thought that should have been updated, didn't that? There we go. Okay. So we have this in the tests. But why were there 4 projects that actually use this? Server doesn't need it. Hey, Nicholas. Good morning. You stayed up to midnight. Oh, man. I don't think these are actually... Oh, that's a dev dependency. Spiner, I don't think needs it. And Game Master does not need it. Okay, this one's fine. It's just a dev dependency used in the tests. And this one here, this one we're actually going to get rid of. But how do we do that, you might ask? Pacing trait isn't there. We have to return box features from these. It isn't going to be that terrible. Just going through removing those. Then we'll get on to the actual replacement of the return types on these. So in this case, we're going to have function getAll should return a box feature. Is it feature box or boxed feature? I think it's boxed feature. Something like that. But we can't. How do we do this now? Because we can't have an async function inside of that like that. It doesn't know that type. Let's double check that type. That's in features light and features, but not in features micro. Features micro is no standard compatible, and this requires an allocation. No, there we go. No future stuff on there. CD DB cargo add features light. We haven't touched this here in a while. Do some migrations of Finder 2D to Rand. Saturday. There we go. Oh, interesting. That just returns boxed. And a boxed feature does look awfully like what we end up seeing in, for kind of the internals of async trait. We might spend some time looking at async trait as well. Oh, good. Incompatible trait, which is fine. And just to double check the boxed. Do I want to buy a Discord server by any chance? What do you mean? we currently have some Discord stuff set up. Uh-oh. I forgot I rebooted that box where Capitan usually is. Alright, let's try it now. There we go. Yeah, our output is T, so that works. You want to make it look like you're doing something? That's funny. Is he a gamer? And why does anybody need to buy a Discord server? I don't understand that. So why does somebody need to buy a Discord server? That I'm not sure on. I'm a little chilly today. I'm gonna grab a sweater. Today we're gonna go with the gray sweater. She thinks people are lazy? Yeah, that's good to go. That's over here. Good morning, Pro Theory. Legacy Extension Project. This one here. That's in Signal.rs. You do have to register this section right here, this signal receiver, because if you don't register that in your, I guess, basically the init function inside of your GD native project. Oh, can you get a link? Yeah, I'll send you a link. GD native ext. All right. Now in this case, this one looks all right there. So we can clean some of this up. Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I've got a lot of async functions here. Do a box on there. Jump, escape, jump to the end. There we go. I have not used async functions in Zig. Actually, the closest I've ever gotten to Zig is actually watching him build Zig. Ah, yes, we have to pull in future EXT for this. Figured out why my boxes were kind of having a little lag between them. They were connecting to different access points. You can't await in non-async functions, and you can't make main an async function. Oh wow. I mean, that's definitely a nice to have in Rust. I don't think it's absolutely needed though. DB may not live long enough. No. So what do we do here? The parameter for type DB may not live long enough, so the type yada yada. Is DB clone? We could just clone DB. Oh, that would fix it. It needs to be moved into there. So it needs to be something that's clonable. Okay, well, it looks like that works. Returning something boxed like that. What about this other one? This here. What are we going to do about this? Because this was all marked as async before, and the result was a response. Now we want to return the future. This is a box future. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think that's fairly common. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing here. I basically spawn a thread for every CPU core I have, and then basically block until a certain event happens. Oh, I see. Make the thread and resume the async functions there. Oh, so you, interesting. So Zig has a async runtime built into it, unlike Rust, right? Which is kind of choose your own async runtime. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Gonna get this boxed up. Good. Okay, let's update the base to look the same. There we go. That's funny. This one has create database in it. It doesn't matter. No methane box found for info of that. This is on Future EXT. Now self has got to go in there. This means if we want the database connection out, and this dbcon here. Okay, basically we have to await that database connection. I see. So basically all of these self dbcon bits have to be pulled out. Oh, it kind of doesn't. You suspend the and resume functions. Oh, you suspend and resume functions manually. Can you link to that documentation? I would like to see that. All right, we'll go there in just a moment. My multi-vim quit on me. There we go. Tab, caret. And now we're gonna have borrow issues because of that, right? No? Oh, good. When a function is called, a frame is pushed to the stack. The function runs until it reaches the return statement. And then the frame is popped from the stack. But the call said the following code does not run until the function returns. An async function is a function whose call side is split into an async initiation. I always would have said initialization, but initiation is fine. Async initiation, followed by an async completion. Frame is provided exclusively by the caller and is suspended a resumed number of times. Okay. Z confers that the function is async when it observes that the function contains a suspension point. Oh, interesting. And why did they use a different color bold there than here? That's weird. Hmm. Oh, I see. And then you resume the frame. This is like the cooperative stuff in Lua, actually. One is monospaced? Oh, I see. But yeah, in Lua you have the same sort of thing. Wow, that's bright. Documentation. Coroutines. So this is going to be very similar in that you can yield in here and then you can resume it. Yeah, coroutine yield here. And then you tell it to keep going and then it keeps on. Yeah, very similar. Syntax error, unmatched right curly brace. I don't see it. What does this DB pool actually do? When we get this get, because we weren't awaiting in here at all, were we? And this was just a get. I do not think Rust was coded in Rust. I think it is now. I don't know the history of it though. Maybe it was always self-hosted. I don't know. It wasn't before? Okay. Oh, Objective Camel. What is DB pool here? Type DB pool. Arc. R2D2 pool. That should throw the arrow to the next one. Yeah, it's still unmatched. Alright. Spot the error. Let's see, I changed this one. It's got the semicolon at the end. 1, 2, 3. Do we need one more there? No. I got all this right. I'm also using Rust with Godot, that's correct. Go is the same way. See, now self-hosted, nice. Yeah, we're actually using the project GD Native. We're using kind of the latest Git master. Because we do have a couple of changes, basically. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Odd. It's weird that that error went away now. Now we just have a different error. This really does not need to be boxed for that. Which means that all of these little dbcon await things don't have to be in there. Oh, this question mark should be gone too. dbcon should have the question mark on it there and not here. All right, one more time. Question mark. Escape. There we go. Hey, school starts tomorrow. You didn't like the in-person thing or not? Oh, I see then. Because this is not returning that, I can't do it that way. It has to be on the boxed future. Oh, fine. It's unlikely to have an error. All right. Clean up a couple of these. Rust streams, let's go. Here, Mouse, how's it going? Yeah, this is a little bit of a cleanup day, so perfect day for asking questions and whatnot. So, using your points, Pro Theory. Funny. Usually some kind of event loop resumes async functions on thread pool. Like for example, standard library of event loop resumes IO functions from a standard. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, their async feels a lot more like coroutines to me. Basically, collaborative multi-threading. I think that's what Lua calls it. You have 200 points? Oh, save them up. You'll be able to redeem them for in-game stuff eventually. Wait, that's this error. This error should still be there. I feel like I butchered some other semicolon somewhere. Curly brace. How was everyone today? Two penguins walk into a bar, which is crazy. The second penguin should have seen it. This error should still be there. DB cargo. I didn't remove that, did I? This error, it's still there. What's diesel? Diesel's an ORM. It's a DB ORM. It's pretty cool, actually. I suggest it. It's let's see, an update 3 months ago. Fairly popular. I use it a lot for the migration stuff. They have really nice migration tools. And I'll probably keep the migration tools, even though I'm going to be moving out to something else. Diesel's waiting for, I guess, certain changes to be async await compatible. And I don't want to wait that long. You never know. By the time I actually get to it, it might be better. Okay, yeah, I don't see any of those formatting errors or whatever here. So we're going to ignore some of this. Rust analyzer getting all up. Getting all angry. This needs to be boxed. Which means this needs to be static. Static lifetime, that is. Async move. Box that up. We need to do the same thing on the next one down. It's going to be a couple of these. There we go. Why? Expected expression, async mode. That is an expression. This no longer has a weight on it. There we go. Get that imported. Yeah, there were some other really neat libs out there. There's Postgres async or something like that. Is it async Postgres? I don't remember. This is actually the perfect use for oh, there it goes. Lib.rs, because you can search by the keywords to find things that actually match for that. It's a wrapper of Tokyo Postgres. Runtime independent. But yeah, I think this is the one that does pipelining and stuff like that. Not completely sure on that. But then there's also SQLX, which is really nice. And SQLX, ooh, they got a beta 1. We should upgrade. Bleeding edge. I think for us, the let's say having that pipeline ability doesn't make that much of a difference because there's just going to be so much going on. So as long as we're eventually gets done, it should be fine. Row streaming, okay, yada yada. Neat. All right. Mismatched types. Ah, I put a semicolon at the end. Shouldn't do that. There we go. How was everyone today? Okay. 128 errors. It's probably as high as that can count. Okay, that's actually the highest I've ever seen that. Although we've been in situations where you had like 10,000 errors. I think it was actually 13 something, 13,000 something. Okay, I think Rust Analyzer is just gonna borked on this. Yeah, formatting didn't kick in, cargo check. Good morning, Aviator. Is there any performance improvement using Rust over GD script? Rust will execute faster. If you're doing a lot of things that cross the boundary, right, going from Rust into into Godot, then there's a penalty there. It's fairly light, but it's something. So if you're just checking for a certain node over and over and over and over again, it might actually be faster in GD script. But I don't know. I kind of doubt that. Because GD script also has to interact with the engine itself, but I think it's just a little bit tighter. The problem is it doesn't get compiled down, right? It's interpreted. So, oh, we got turkeys in the yard. Oh, crazy. There's some little ones. Oh, how cute. Hard to see in the grass. Kind of got some tall grass over there. Oh, I missed your question. I did miss your question. What ISP am I using? I don't understand your question. Like, for hosting the game? Good morning, the coding guy. But yeah, to Aviator's question, yes. Rust will be faster than GD script. It's a lot slower to write. You end up covering more cases. Oh my goodness, that was the issue. Sorry, go back. I was in the wrong directory. Oh, celebrated too soon. Let's see if that ends up fixing the Rust 46. Oh, LSP. Oh, this is Conquer of Completion with Rust Analyzer. So yeah, we've got a little command for that. And if anybody's interested, we do have more commands. Alright, so we're still hitting this issue. We're just kind of shooting in the dark on this one. But if you do have more questions, please, this is a day for it. I'm gonna restart NeoVim for this. Yeah, Starship is this guy here. A little layout here. You can turn these bits on and off. You can see that I'm using Rust 1.46. And with some GitHub. Oh goodness, I've like got all of them. I might be missing one. Yeah. Messages, metrics. Prometheus, TCP server, legacy Rust, DB, game master. It's been a while, huh? Since I've done this. Most of this is due to the upgrades I did last night. There we go. And if I miss your question, just at Mr. Halsey, tag me. You can read this one on your phone. You know, that was one of my goals with this, was to make it so that I could see it on my phone. And that's so hard to do on so many streams. So even when we go into like Godot, that and I don't know what's the current bit rate at. I think I'm aiming for like 1.3 megabit per second. Because I don't have a great internet connection. And for me, going into streams where they need like 6 megabit per second for coding, it's just, oh, it's brutal. Like I can't watch it. So I got it all cranked down. I'd rather spend a little bit more on CPU time to get the bit rate down than, yeah, oops, than to spend more on bandwidth, because I'm limited by bandwidth against status. I actually noticed that a lot more people can come into the stream because there's less bandwidth needed. Oh, we don't want the delete me. We're going to go with native. It didn't break everything. I'm just being dramatic there. Okay. Actually, we probably should have included this one. There we go. How limiting it was to go to 1080p? I don't know. It's just how you spend your pixels, right? Your bandwidth on it. I don't think that, like, if you don't have a lot of motion, then 1080p is fine. Just bump your font. I think I've even posted my my OBS configs on this. More than happy to share. All right, let's give this a save. I also don't do the face cam, right? It's not because, you know, I don't have a face for. Actually, what do they say? Got a face for radio. Now to me, I just don't think it adds much to a coding stream. And because I don't have that, it's a little bit more of a benefit. A lot less motion. Like right now, it's just a cursor blinking. Oh yeah, I'm at 10 frames per second. like how many frames do you need to watch the cursor blink? I'm at 1080p because I like the crispness of the font. And when I get this tuned in right, it looks so much better. So I know there's some artifacting, but I think it basically crisps up okay. I'm gonna take a peek on the phone and see how it looks. Yeah, it looks alright. Because my phone is 1080p, I don't want it to sample it up. Yeah, it just looks like I got a terminal open on there. It's alright. Oh, and I'm at 480. Let's go to 1080. Let's go to look at the source. Page up, page down. I want to see if there's artifacting. I haven't looked in a while. Oh yeah, no, it's nice. Hey Kent, how's it going? But I spent weeks tuning my stuff. I don't do a downsampling. I actually have the window scaled to 1080p. So for OBS, it's not spending extra CPU cycles downsampling and whatnot. Or resizing, right? So that's fine. It works out really well. Okay, I think we've eradicated the bits that I thought were irritating this error. There's other places too where it could be. Trying to use navigation. Oh, nice, nice. Actually have a good text size for viewers. Oh, well, thank you. It's actually like on my screen, I've got this resized to like a small window because it's on a, I guess just this here is running on a MacBook Pro, a 2015 box. So it's got the high DPI screen, and because I don't want it to, OBS doesn't really understand high DPI. So resizing it to half of 1080p, that terminal window on my screen is actually half 1080p, and OBS is capturing it pixel per pixel, well, dot for dot, really, because it's high DPI. So OBS does a lot less. Still use one to work? This thing is great. It's really great. You can probably change the encoder settings too. A lot of CPU cores and high-end graphics card. Oh yeah. Yeah, if you spend a little bit more CPU time up front or graphics card time up front, if your graphics card can encode. I had trouble with the Apple encoder. Actually, I had better luck with the encoder built into the Raspberry Pi hardware. The only reason I'm not streaming on this Raspberry Pi on my desk is because it can stream, and it'll use 30% of all the cores because it has a hardware encoder. I can wire it up with FFmpeg so that it ends up doing everything with OBS, doing the capture, all that stuff, 1080p, and streaming with only 30% usage on the Raspberry Pi 4B. 4B Plus, it has 8 gigs of RAM. The problem is when you fire up the Rust compiler. It's so slow. So slow on that box. Then you're kind of locked into the Raspberry Pi's hardware encoder settings, which I don't think I want. You have a Jetson Nano? Trying to get OBS compiled on it? Oh, interesting. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Oh, what's the unsafe tag mean? Yes, that is Rust. Basically because I imagine that it probably has some, oh, here, this bit here. Yeah, a lot of the Rust core libraries actually got some unsafe code in it. And what this means is that the compiler can't verify all situations. So if you're trying to do things for performance and you can guarantee things that the compiler can't, or basically you're taking on the responsibility that this is not going to have um, unintended side effects, right? Or UB, what is that, unbound? What, is it? What does UB mean now? I'm drawing a blank on that. Anyhow, yeah, this is your guarantee. Rather, it's how you express that something inside might not be safe. And when you wrap it with unsafe, you're saying, I guarantee that this is fine to do. And this pin unchecked, this pin new unchecked, you're basically saying, you're not checking that because I've already validated it. So it's kind of going through a fast path here. What I am surprised about is that they have unsafe here and unsafe on the inside. Oh, looks like we're missing, I don't know, 10 lines or so. So who knows what else is in there. But how do we fix this bug? This did show up on Reddit. Some other people are having the same issue. It seems to be that you can irritate it with kind of the code that we just got rid of, async trade bits. Or was it? You can also irritate it with advertisement, how to wipe with water instead. That's so funny. It's going to say like compiler regression or something. Almost there. Oh, here we go. Compiler regression. Morning, above Seagull. How you doing? Not using an ad blocker. Yep. So yeah, I'm running into the same situation. They link to some issues here. Let's open a couple tabs. The standard why didn't Crater find this? It's because your code isn't a crate. Crater only checks crates. Open source crates on GitHub. Let's see. You can file a new bug, etc. Yeah. Mine was because I instrumented async functions with tracing crate, and I do the same thing. I do exactly the same thing. So I'm wondering whether or not it's actually because of that. Oh, you woke up to a bunch of Cloudflare / large network errors. Oh no. Oh, that's rough. Let's see, they go through and they talk about this a little bit. Some of these are old. They're like August last year. Here we go, 11 days ago. Yeah. So the regression was this one. Oh, this is the Rust regression. I don't really want to see that. But this is what we're trying to fix. Do these depend on each other? We have main. Main calls foo4. Foo4, oh, it calls 3, 2, 1, etc. Is this because of that there? Okay, well, if it's that macro expansion bit here on tracing instrument, we could change ours. Happy Sunday, everybody. Yes, happy Sunday. That's not it. We're going to search for this. We're going to comment some of these out. Just a couple. Holy cow. We can do that with quit there. We have SD. We can do preview mode because we want to see what's going on. We're going to do string mode. No regular expressions for this one. We'll be looking for this text here, and we want to replace it with / pound that, I think. Oh, we have to give it the files. Can we glob with this? Can we say ******rs? We can. Good. Okay, and let's then grep that. Okay, that looks okay. We're going to go ahead and run this, making sure we can undo it if we need to. What did I change in DB? Oh, it just got formatted. Fine. Finally, formatter kicked in. That's really part of the last one. All right. No more preview mode. Just update all the code. Get status. There we go. Lots of changes. I'll go build on that. I mean, hopefully it's just the macro bits. Because if it is just the macro bits, we can instrument that some other way. Ah, perfect. Okay. Oh, my network is being a little flaky today. I'm gonna give it a check real quick. So how are the puns and the bad jokes out in your world? A friend of mine is always annoying me with bird puns, but I decided two can play that game. Or decided two can play that game. Didn't. Oh, that's so awful. So bad. And the delivery was a little rough. What do you call a snake that is 3.14 meters long? A python. Nice, you did. Good one. That's a good one. Python. Now I'm saving these so that we can add them to the bot. All right. Oops. All right, lots of those. Let's go look and see. Because I mostly care about this kind of at the highest level. That and at the database level, I want to see how long database events are taking. So I look at these. Create a little quick fix list. Oh my goodness. Just goes like on and on. All right, almost there. Down to there. So how can we do this in a different way? Because if that is the macro, I mean, hopefully it's that. What was the error? Let's go back here. Reached type length limit while instantiating. Here they're using macros for it. If we replace it with something else, do we still have that? Maybe not. So we're not adding to the type info. We get a bunch of these boxed features. That's a pinned feature. Pull, yeah, closure here, yada yada. Hmm. Get grep. Kind of. I'm not like a master of him either. So, like pulling up a buffer, pulling in results from a command into a buffer, not usually what I will do. But if you have a way that works really well, let me know. I'm willing to try it. Like, why? This is just with like regular tracing stuff. Oh, Git has a grep? Holy cow. RG is faster with more results, but yeah. That's cool though. I did not know about that. No, today I learned. That's neat. So some of this is not async. If it's not on an async function, I'm just going, I don't know. Let's see, let's go to tracing. Tracing's a pretty cool crate. Kind of where I learned about slabs and stuff. The thing it used to, oh, like normal grip for compatibility. Nice. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So tracing is really neat. It lets us look and watch basically logs for an event stream. Imagine somebody's coming into the server, their connection packet needs to get authenticated, needs to have a bunch of checks on it. And that flow through the server using tracing, we can actually watch that independent of all of the other authentications coming in. So it's a really, really neat way of analyzing servers and whatnot. So I'm gonna go to the documentation on this. Because we can use spans and stuff like this. This is what I'm used to seeing here. Now, some of this is not done in asynchronous code, which is fine. but I think we should probably set up more of these. So tracing spans, and then span enters. And let's create some snippets for this. I do use ulti-snippet for a lot of this stuff. I thought I had some of this already. Yeah, here. These are for logs. Because we want spans. Let's create some. Now most of this is just going to be traces. So TST, so tracing, span, trace. It's basically going to be something like that.
This one's for every beautiful has-been. The loves of past, future, and my present, presented to me delicately pressed into a memory. I can feel the brush inside my mind, painting what one might look like lying on the sofa and another just plain lying, a previous me crying for lack of proper goodbye. And it's also for you, every person with has-beens. You who filed old emotional baggage into recycling.
See, how do we end up giving it information?
Goes where? I guess it depends on where it ends, if it ends. If there was ever really a chance that it's the
New
end,
event is also cool.
we can still be friends.
It's a moment in time as opposed to a range.
My mind is a bit of a museum. Art everywhere, you might stop and stare if you could see them. Lucky for me though, you probably never will. They're not exactly painful, but still.
All right, almost there. We can just include variables after the fact. Got it.
Tiny cracks in the artwork, the starts of tears, so I leave it.
Nice. All right, let's make a couple of these. I don't think we're going to need many.
If Scooby-Doo and crew rolled through my mind, I'd like to think they'd
I'm
find
going to
themselves enthralled by the
not include the tail end on that. I found that I don't want that as much as I thought I would.
heartstrings and brain synapses at the same synchronized methodical odd pace.
Trace debug.
Bring it all back and see if now is tragedy, past is my majesty. If it still matters to be in the presence of clouds of perfume that could make up the essence of tears, fears, trust, and lust, beers, jeers, dust, and fluff. That could fill
All
in
right.
the gaps of my story as I heard it. Pad all the parts that aren't perfect. To blur the worst and cover the worthless, to blot out the parts that I once found disturbing.
Now in this case, TSI. Oh, there we go. Save island PNG. Cool. I don't think we have to do much for this. I think in most of these cases, I'm just going to want to know that it's taking a while to save or not. So maybe the size. Good morning. Hey, Krasnik, how's it going? It's going all right. We're trying to get rid of compiler error bits.
I think there's a value in appreciation without longing, fondly recalling what you did last summer without needing to check your Instagram. You each played a role, a painting in a gallery, a crucial thread in the tapestry. Sometimes we part ways with the silence of the last few grains of sand passing through an hourglass.
All right.
Other times, it's with the screeching brakes too slow to prevent a crash.
And then we have to do a tracing enter, don't we? We need to have like a little enter bit. Just be like that, and the span has to live for as long as this does. Okay, so we're going from those macros to this. Really hot and humid day? Am I building a game world? Yes. The island is real. In our imaginary game, the island is real. Yeah, this information here is how we had been encoding the island data so that it could be sent to the client. I was using like a 8-bit color PNG, so grayscale, 8-bit color depth, and we were encoding the different terrains of the island into this image and sending it to the client. And then the client would take that into a shader and render the terrain of the world with that. We're going to be changing it a little bit in that once we get this all wired up again, that's going to be replaced with model data. So instead of sending the image down, we will be sending the seed down. The client will generate the world using the seed. And so we'll just pass like a 32-bit number or 128 bits of data. I think it's a UUID. And then from there, the world will be generated. And this is all possible thanks to GD Native using Rust inside of Godot. Hopefully, the precision differences on lesser devices won't be an issue. All right. So I might have to have some sort of fallback for devices like that. We'll see. That, and I also want to make a text interface to the game. I would love to do that and have a text interface. All right, so we have to change these just a little. I'm going to copy that line. What algorithms am I using? That's right here. We're using SIMD noise, fractal Brownian motion, 2D noise in this case. Generate the world, some noise, some island shape information. So getting the roundness of the island not exactly round, adding some noise to the shore. And I had it running on my Raspberry Pi. The server does run on the Pi occasionally, so we'll see. All right, where are we with this? We want this here. All right, now each of these here need it as well. There we go. That's a little better. Which one's next? Here. All right, so in this case, we had a trace span here for create the DB. This is used by test code for setting up the DB. Why is there even a span on it? Okay, let's reevaluate that. Let's see. Oh, yes. Each one of these database interactions, we do want this on. So I want to see what the database performance is like on the requests. So how much of the request is taken up by the database versus other calculations. So TSI tab. Oh, cancel that. I gave them the same command. Span enter. There we go. So do stuff like that. I don't really care what the values are at this point, just that it's being called. And then span enter. What is this one? Update? Get rid of that. Get. Get to all. All right. Now for land. And the same thing. Okay, those should be all right. Clean that up. Get rid of those. Good. Endemic Watch asks, I do wish to make a game world. I have an idea for gameplay already. You have some code experience, but no OOP code? Why do you need OOP? Yeah, you do not need to know object-oriented programming for this. So, okay, I think most people will give you the answer of it depends on like what you're comfortable with and whatnot. So I view game making as storytelling. All right, for me, the end result is a story. Hey, Musean. Oh, thank you for the raid. So yeah, for me, this is storytelling. So I need to get that set up. Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with Musean's channel, Musean is incredible at this. The story for Tetris is different. So there are puzzles, there are games, and I treat games as storytelling. Yeah, for me, it's like, well, we're gonna get into the language stuff in a bit. For me, it's more important that the story get told than the language or the mechanics or whatever, as long as it works. There are some fantastic games out there that have been written using like drag and drop stuff, right? Story like Game Maker Pro and stuff like that, right? It really depends on the sort of emotional like adventure you want people to go on. For example, like Five Nights at Freddy's, right? The game maker that built that did not do actual like straight up coding, would do a lot of like Game Maker's Pro style of coding. But they really wanted to make a jump scare game, and so they made it, and I mean, it became something that was really, really big. First person in a world similar to Earth. Yeah, okay. Now, in this case, so I guess, the core of my answer is it doesn't matter which language as long as your story gets told, right? If you're trying to make a toy, Like Line Rider. Line Rider is absolutely a toy. It's just fun, right? You draw a line, and the guy on the little sled follows it, which is just a lot of fun. You almost synced up all of your IGNs? Keyword being almost. Now, certain stories or certain ways that you want to express something might have requirements on it. So if you're building something like what you were talking about there, a world similar to Earth, depending on your art style and basically your target audience, for me, it's the target audience that's going to be more of a constraint. Because a lot of people won't have the sort of like 4K card, like they're not going to have high-end equipment, all this stuff. Most of the world has lesser devices, right? So let's see if we can get where did it go? Oh, there you are, A Sprite. We're gonna open this one. All right, this is like our general sort of like just draw stuff one. I kind of see the world as like in terms of devices, you've got like the real. We need more pixels for this line. You got like really high-end devices at the top, right? And then you have really, really low-end devices at the bottom. And to make a game, you want to do something with the Windows API. So 650 lines in 90 minutes. In a working demo of grabbing Windows titles with an HTTP server. Oh, that's great. So, sorry, we'll come back to the triangle in just a moment. So, Musean, did that, because you used to do this using a browser plugin that you would talk to, and now you're using the title of the window. That's brilliant. That's really, really cool. A black screen. Oh, I am so sorry. Um, Thank you for letting me know that. That is very, very helpful. Yay, there we go. White screen. All right. You're still going to use the browser plugin? Ah, I see, I see. Oh, no. C# Unity. Oh, no. So most people are going to like a lot of like AAA games are targeting hardware or whatnot. That's like top of the peak. It's like super expensive, right? This is like top tier hardware way up here. And most people don't have that kind of money. They don't have that kind of hardware, right? And so if you want an audience, like a decent sized audience, you're going to want to get good enough hardware, and you're going to want to be able to play like your game on a much bigger piece of this pie, right? Of course, these people up here, they're like qualified spenders. They've got like money. So if you're trying to make money and whatnot, these people down here, the further you go down, they're either really conservative with their money. Maybe they will be able to, do eyes instead of dollars. So you can have this down here is probably more ad based, right? Somebody that gets a device for their birthday, right? Might not be the best iPhone, might be like a secondhand iPhone or something, last gen or 2 gens ago, whatever it is. Maybe it's a hand-me-down, right? They might not have cash, but they can pick up a game and they can play it. So depending on your market, you're going to build the game out differently. Exactly. Money from ads. So depending on how, like if this is just going to be a passion project where you're not looking to make any cash from it versus something where it's ad based and like, what was that one thing? Flappy Bird, right? Super simple game. Kid made a ton of money on it, and yeah, it was completely ad based. It just got viral, but most games don't do that. So also look at it in this perspective, right? how many players, just by choosing some of your technological choices, are going to filter people out. So who you're trying to tell your story to, or who you want to play your toy, and depending on what it is, it will be affected by these choices here. Okay, so yeah, I've gone over this with my kids, and I'm actually doing this with my game. Um, I want things that are super low poly if we do go into the world. I would also like to have a mode of the game where it could be for visually impaired people, maybe text-based. Can you imagine just being able to um, SSH into a server or a port that has a MUD-like interface? For those of you that weren't born in the last century, um, MUDs were things before the internet. Usually, you would find a MUD accompanied to a BBS. Uh, Never mind. Okay, so gonna walk out of that path. But I would like to have like even a MUD interface to this. I think that would be really, really cool. I might actually enjoy that more. Um, Back in the day of fast internet, yes, where every bit mattered. Okay, so yeah, I don't think C# and Unity is going to capture most of this market. Okay, I think C# Unity might be here. I don't know. Might be here, right? Unreal Engine, it's kind of higher tier as well. So it really depends. I think some of the GLES 2 stuff with the Godot would help me capture more market space. So that's really what I'm targeting. Um, it might have different modes depending on your hardware's capability, but I mean you could go through and choose something this way. When you choose a game engine, look at this triangle, right? Just think of the triangle. Think of how much support it has for these other devices that most people will have. Rust or Go? Do I suggest Rust or Go? It depends. Like for server stuff, I mean, if you're like great at either one, I'd go with the tool in this case, because they would both be comparable. Um, Personally, I wanted to learn Rust, which is why I'm doing this in Rust. I do not know Go. I wasn't as interested in learning Go. I like some of the design philosophy of Go. Yeah, if it's going to be some sort of downloaded client, um, I think it's better to have something that's a little closer to the hardware. If it's going to be server code, you could get away with Go. So Musean, we ended up removing, oh, you wouldn't believe what error I was seeing earlier. I got this. So I upgraded to 1.46 and hit this one. Oh yeah, the server code runs on a machine that's out on the internet somewhere, and the client would be on the device itself. What Firefox theme is this? I think it's called IU, AYU. No, from best I can tell, this was from tracing. Actually, it's from this here. Because when I commented out all of my tracing bits, it went away. This was after we. So apparently, it can also happen due to um, async trait in combination with tracing. So we got rid of async trait, ended up doing box feature. Because I think the combination might have been it. Uh, so we're going through at the moment, replacing our tracing bits. So we're going to try for inline spans like this. I'm wondering whether or not this would cause the same sort of errors. I don't think so. Oh yeah, Pandemic Watch. That sound. This is like exactly the same sort of thing I would tell my kids. I would say, "How do you eat an elephant?" Right, and then they just look at me like, "Oh, you're crazy, Dad. What the heck are you talking about?" Like one bite at a time, right? You just make small amounts of progress, and eventually you get there. It shouldn't happen. It's a compiler being helpful, and it ends up being an IC. Gets out of hand. Oh, that's great. All right, so we got all of those. Actually, I'm gonna copy that. Yeah, this stuff here. Let's see, here we're in biome. Oh shoot, these are async functions. I can't do that on the async function like that. Oh, bummer. Yeah. No, you're either going to make a bunch of tools for making a game or you're going to make a game. And you'll see a lot of developers get into this where they go to build what I call the ivory tower. Right? They never ship. Nothing ever comes out. It's just constantly working on the ivory tower. Where they lose sight of the actual goal, getting the story out there, getting it in people's hands. Because if that's really your goal, you have to keep that in mind. Don't make the language, don't go from scratch. Evaluate some game engines, see what kind of fits kind of your capability, your target audience, and just go for it. Oh, this is a bummer. I can't do it this way in here. Okay. Because you cannot have spans and enters in async functions because why are these async functions? There's no awaiting in here. Oh, I was being optimistic and thinking that Diesel would eventually get async. That's right. That's right. These do not need to be async, do they? Let's put those back for a moment. Okay. An interesting blog post about not setting goals. Another child got glandular fever. Yeah, yeah. So what are they talking about here? How you can take 7 years to make a game? Important tips and tricks for taking your sweet time. Build your own engine. What are the other highlights here? Have an unclear game idea. Yeah, sounds about right. Run a crowdfunding campaign. Yes. Constantly blog about your game. Blogging takes an incredible amount of time. It really does. Do all of your own testing. Yep. Do all the side things. Game jams. Oh, that's fantastic, Museum. It's probably definitely worth a read. Finally shipped 1.0. Since this bus, I refactored the engine to support lower-end hardware. See? Look at that. We're talking about the triangle. He wanted a bigger target. His net was too small. Two years after that post. Oh, yeah. 2 years. Holy cow. 9 months to ship the game. 9 years to ship the game. Pretzel Rocks is the music in the background. So whenever the song changes, 10 seconds later, Pretzel Rocks will announce it in this channel. You can ignore Pretzel Rocks if you want. You just click on them, ignore them. Yeah, 9 years is so long. I mean, they probably learned a huge amount on that. And I mean, look at that art style. This is nice. I like this style. Consider using a language that introduces a major version upgrade partway through your development cycle. Actually, 9 years. They would have caught at least 2 in C++. So, all right, now dblib stuff. Oh, there's a test stuff. Actually, the test stuff should pull that out into a crate. I think people could use that. 14, 17, 20 are incremental. Yeah, 11 was cool. And you mentioned before, move semantics were in 11. Why are these async? This is just because I want to call them. I want to have something async in here and didn't end up replacing diesel yet. Yeah, I'm not doing that today. But I'm glad it compiles. I'm just bummed that the other bits don't work for that. The other way of doing these spans, we have to do instrument futures, tracing futures. I am too. It's almost been a year. Okay, tracing. Good question. Let me open the docs on this first. Here we go, Jaeger tracing. This is actually what I use for tracing stuff. End-to-end distributed tracing. So imagine a log that crosses multiple places or whatnot. Here, this might show. All right, here's an example. So imagine that each one of these lines is an async contact, like an async function. If you were to log this out amongst all of these different requests, let's say you had 1,000 of the same request happening at the same time, but you wanted to look at the flow and the log information for one, tracing's your way to go. Async rocket before async diesel. It has a new ETW adapter? Oh, really? Morning, Cap hasn't. Morning, Alexander. How are ya? Oh, Docs failed to build for that one. All right. Feature flags. Yeah, I think we're actually using this feature flag. But really we want it to be instrumented. But I don't think we're doing spawner block on. No, no, no. We just want to span. This seems new to me. Impl instrumented. Because I don't want to do the with subscriber. But a subscriber, what do they have on it? Trade subscriber. Enter. I see. So you can enter a span using a subscriber. And what were we doing before? So in let's say auth should have like an in current span, stuff like that. Oh, it was in game master lib, wasn't it? Or no, server lib. Tracy client for non-tracing stuff. Oh, nice. All right, in this case, we have an executor. We have this async block here. Did we completely get rid of tracing from this? Wow. That does not seem right. Okay. Well, I probably still want that back, so let's toss that in there. Still wrestling with matching game time to real time? Why would you do that? I mean, that feels a little Pokemon Go-ish. right? Where there might be quote unquote a Pokemon that multiple people could see on their device at the same time. But I don't know if you need that. All right, so in this case, I think we want basically the async block, an async block inside of this loop that has the tracing bits on it. I think we just lost all of our tracing. That sucks. All right, asynchronous code, here we go. We told you to span for a synchronous section of code within an async block or function, span in scope. Okay. For instrumenting asynchronous code, the tracing feature script provides instrument combinator for attaching a span to a feature. All right, which is really what we've been doing. So in doing an enter, you just instrument span, then await it. This is nice too, though. But I think we can include more information. I don't know. Hmm. And this is the one that was hurting us. We figured boxing of an IO object wouldn't really be all that measurable. Alright, so off. Let's see. I'm probably going to have to get going soon. Maybe in like 10-20 minutes. I've got to move a bunch of alfalfa today, and I'm not looking forward to that. Just stacking, organizing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have goats. So we basically have a year's worth of feed, and it's that season again. So already bailed, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Where in the world am I? Yes. Well, someplace in the world where they have goats. I'm Pacific time. You can kind of see. Sometimes I might clock up. Yeah, it's 8:10 right now. Yeah, I'm in Pacific time. So Pacific Northwest. Halloumiville. We've made halloumi. Halloumi's great. Would you like making cheese? All right, so we're going to say async move, all this stuff, the match, all that. Let's see, to there, dot, what was it, instrument or something? All right, now we need the span. Now we want trace. What do we want to call this? Auth? Auth back, I don't know. Whatever it is. I think I would also like to include whatever the ID is. Cannot find. Oh, it's ID gen. We didn't create an ID yet. That's right. Real cheese, yes. Pandemic Watch. That does sound really cool. Oh, Alexander. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of the only time I have to be able to do this. Where do we pass ID gen in? So here, we end up creating an ID. We could move that out. Say, oh, we get an ID here. We only want that for new connections. All right. So we just use something like that for now, at least. Did I have a degree? I did not have a degree. I do not have a degree. Yeah. Oh, you did some design in soft image on Onyx machines. That's cool. Nope. Completely kind of self-taught in the programming world. I did not end up enjoying my my college time. So I ended up starting businesses. 6 layers of indent deep. Yes. And I think we could go another 6 before we hit the right side of the screen, don't you think? That's at least 6 more. Oh, you've been thinking, planning out how to make make an H list for a select style macro. That does sound cool. Yeah, maybe obsessive. I don't know. I got into computers when I was young, and I just love it. Oh, I see. Now that's gonna break this. Selecting over features. Like warp does hand. Oh, I see. Yes. Now, would this be something kind of akin to like selecting over features? Yeah, like warp does handlers, selecting over features. It does sound really neat. Oh, either chains are fine. But yeah, this here, yeah, it does seem like that sort of thing should be possible. It really does. And like the only reason I didn't want to have that here was because, well, first off, the select macro, having the macro in here totally butchers the formatting. I don't typically need the select because I only have 2 elements, so the race is fine. I'd probably go to something else if I had more. Implemented like tuples in C++. Oh, okay. Coming into Rust from C++, what does that actually mean? How is it implemented? Yeah.
I can feel your energy when you're looking back at me. Through the crowd, I see your eyes.
Because we can't break there.
Beneath the sky,
So
can we call upon our friends and dance until the
I mean,
end?
this error was kind of bogus anyways. Ideally, if we returned some sort of error from this, then we would break. So I don't expect things to actually cause this error. However, how would we handle that here? Oh, and why doesn't the instrument work? Oh, because we didn't pull in the trait. Does server even have that? Server cargo? It does. It has tracing features here. What's arc? Atomic rough counted shared pointer. Yeah. I don't really like how the pattern is going here. I get that we have the async block inside of the loop, and we want the async block in the loop because we want to see this for every packet. Oh, actually, this is a little too tight on here. I probably only want this instrumentation. I've put this at the wrong spot. Probably only want it here. When we process the data, I'm at the wrong level. We want it in here. Yeah, we're already doing the instrument in here. Oh, goodness. Okay, so let's undo some of this. Okay. It's starting to make sense. Oh, good. All right, so the packet's going to come in. This is for new connection, so it's not that side. It's not left, but the right side is a packet from a new connection. So we call process stream, stream item, and then depending on the type, the kind of that packet, that race could be simpler. Ooh, do tell. Guess we don't really need the locals.
Take my hand and we'll go to a different place. Float on air and we'll hide away. I'll be your escape. Look up and feel
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of calling a wait in there, how would that work though? Because either doesn't have async, like it doesn't. Would it be dereffing? Would it be because it's a, yeah, it returns a future. And so so it dereffs the left for the future? No, my either isn't a future. I didn't pull that section from your code base. No future. Oh. Still hopeful. Oh, yes. Oh, interesting. Emoticons there. Ah, they'd be required. Okay. So we do have the instrumenting here. Huh. So other than that, most of the instrumenting is in the DB stuff. Could be in Spiner a bit. Oh, we removed a lot of stuff just to make this compile. Brainlink. That's right. Alright. Let's see, it should be able to actually connect to it. Last night I went through and updated all of my stuff to use the new async executor and all that. It was a lot of changes. It'd compile faster without the attributes. Oh, interesting. That's neat. Give it a dev run. Oh, that's right. I was also playing around with this. I don't think I want this though. Yeah, target's gone. Cargo build. So what OS? This is OS 10. All right. Yeah, OS 10. Yeah, once this box ages out though, I think I'm going with the FreeBSD box. So many credits. Yeah, we're down to 433. There's a couple of crates in the workspace that I think could be trimmed down a bit. Might as well be NPM. Not quite. Man, project at work has so much. What does dash D give us? Oh, dependencies. And this is, we're getting a lot of different parking lots. All the duplicates that aren't. Oh, that's awesome. Log. Lock. Wow. Isn't it? Is it Arayvec dead? I thought Arayvec was gonna. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. Which is really strange because I thought I had told it to kind of upgrade to everything. Here, let's take a look. Prometheus metrics, we can keep that out for a moment. Legacy itself. This is the main one, and so it needs to have version numbers. Oh, this is also the, there's 2 entry points, okay. All right, Game Master. Actually, I don't know which. Here, if we instead just did a cargo. It doesn't mean all, it means workspace. Yep, that's right. Pro Theory 8. Cookie and Chrono. Parking lot core uses smallvec 0.6. Who's using parking lot core 0.6? Wow. Parking lot 0.9. Add a. All right, let's do that. I I don't follow. I feel like I'm gonna say something silly. Add A, add A. I don't get it. Now you got me like self-conscious on this. All right. So GD native is using the old one. Hmm. Today was really just kind of clean up. I wanted to get the code building again, and it should be building. I think I will go through and kind of clean up some of these dependencies later. Maybe with a cold drink and some ice packs and some Advil, because later I'm going to be hurting. Yeah, we're going to go through and show where we're at. Currently, we're trying to get into the game. We ended up doing a little bit of a rework and need to get the game master bits reworked, uh, wired up again. However you want to say that. Let's see, yeah. And then after that, we'll break up the ECS into smaller pieces. So we'll end up with a multiplexer, a packeteer, a game master, a multiplexer, packeteer, game master per zone. And each zone will be in its own spawned task. O-E dev. That is nice. It's almost there. Oh yeah. So I'm using this other tool. Um, what was it? It's if I go into server, the right one. I think it's Rust. Where is it? Oh, build dependencies. Here. I'm using this GD native project utils, which ends up creating a bunch of GDN and GDN lib files for me in the other project. So part of this project's build step is to generate everything else that Godot needs to load up these DLLs and these class kind of linkages. What are we talking about? What is that? That's fertilizer? Oh my goodness. Typically we use a lot of kind of chicken manure, goat manure for fertilizer. Kind of bake that with like the kitchen waste. When I say bake, I mean like compost. All right. All right, so the server's running. Now, back over here, it looks like, let's see, spoke too soon. Godot is not running. All right, we'll do it the long way. Screen's gonna go black. Just a moment. Ah, there it is. Okay. So we have that. Now we will run the game. We'll go in through the login screen. Captain Museum, and then we have our loading screen. Now, we no longer have stuff crashing, but we do have zone info being sent back. So the next step is going to be fetching the zone info, which is kind of what we were doing before. We had been building up the system to yield on the signals. So now we can actually, well, we can do that with that other, let's see, the GD native ext code. So we can use signal.on in order to load this in the client. Cool. Well, I have to get prepared for my day that I am so looking forward to. No, for whatever reason, I don't like moving tons of material by hand. I just don't. It's not my favorite thing. But it's a thing. So I gotta go do that. See, is anybody out there? Anybody we can raid? Pearly Owl raided us yesterday. Gonna raid him back. Brooke? Raid Brooke. We'll give Brooke a raid. Cargo upgrade -P, some specific package. Yeah, I like the -E. The -P is also very helpful. Although I would have to know which package I actually want to upgrade. In this case, I do, don't I? Because parking lot on GD native. All right, y'all. Until next time. Oh, one more question. Is using Rust with Godot even comfortable? Oh, they're borrow checking. Oh yeah, and cargo outdated. Thank you. The outdated packages. That's very, very useful. I'm going to take some notes after this. There is borrow checking. There's a lot of stuff up there. Borrow checking error because it is a different sort of design. The way you interact with Godot using Rust is it's a little strange because of the interior mutability of the Godot objects. So a lot of times things won't be mutable, or you'll have to use unsafe functions in order to get a reference to something that's in the scene graph because you don't own it. But I gotta get going, and I'm happy to answer more questions tomorrow. So until then, bye-bye.